peace. As such, Mark and I co-wrote Faith for Exiles, which was published in 2019. We both were personally parenting our own teens and 20-something children, and we were facing significant headwinds. Society has become especially and insidiously faith-repellent. Our research showed that resilient faith was tougher to grow using the cultivation methods we relied on throughout the 20th century. Professionally, and probably more urgently personally, we needed some hopeful news and handrails to help us guide our own kids and other young adults on how to cultivate a resilient faith. Together, Mark and I developed 5 research-based practices to help a new generation follow Jesus and thrive as exiles in digital Babylon. Mark builds on all that work in his book, Faith for the Curious. He continues to weave the thread of reaching people and helping them grow in their faith in this current cultural moment. Massive receptivity to the possibility of God exists today. People want to believe in something bigger than themselves, a higher power, to help them make sense of this messy world. We're living in a cultural moment full of enormous evangelistic opportunities. Yet, as Mark soberly points out, the challenge facing Christians is whether we are ready and able to meet spiritually open people, where they are, as they are. Our data shows Christians and church leaders have significant work to do to bridge the trust gap for people who are spiritual but not religious. Mark's work in Faith for the Curious is a major part of the bridge. In chapter after chapter, he provides relatable stories and experiences from his own life, data that tells the story of today's spiritually open people, and practical, concrete ideas for how to engage in spiritual conversations. Mark authored this book under the Barna brand, which means he's included reliable charts, infographics, and statistics, and he unpacks them for those who share our love of a good data story. These charts and infographics can be found in the print and ebook versions of the book. But this isn't your typical quantitative Barna research book. It's really about perception, seeing the world around us, understanding people's backstories, and how they are connected to our spiritually open research, noted at the end of this book, and learning how to engage with people about their faith in a relevant, relatable way. Mark humbly shares his own journey as a high schooler who was quick to convince and less apt to be curious about others. Today, Mark is genuinely curious about people's spiritual journeys. He leans into every conversation, ready to listen and learn about the person with whom he's talking. Before you begin listening to Faith for the Curious, I hope you'll pause for a moment and ask God to meet you where you are in your own faith life, to humbly ask Him to soften your heart so it will be open and receptive to what you're about to experience in the sections that follow here. This book will help you be more curious about others, interested in ideas, and more open to God. Mark and I believe it will make you a better listener and, as such, even more open to receiving all that God has for you. Yes, Faith for Curious is an expression of Mark's expertise as a data storyteller, but it's also a narrative of his own evangelism journey, and it provides a much-needed modern-day guide for everyday Christian pastors and ministry leaders. Mark has made a great contribution to our team at Barna. As his friend and co-laborer in Christ, I could not more highly recommend this book to you. May you see and hear and act on the opportunities that abound to share Jesus now. David Kinnaman, CEO, Barna. Chapter 1, A New Way. If she shows an openness to further exploration of faith, of Jesus, what church can I recommend to her? The question rattled around in my head as I sat across the table from Annika, an elegantly dressed, soft-spoken professional with piercing blue eyes. It was my first time meeting her. Annika happened to be a dear friend of our mutual acquaintance, an exuberant Irish New Yorker who often interrogated me about my role as a minister and playfully teased me about my ministry being a cult. The three of us met with several friends in a charming coffee shop on the Upper East Side. Within mere minutes, our conversation veered into matters of religion and spirituality. Once I was introduced as a cult leader by our mutual friend. Just for the record, I teased, I've never been the one to bring my Christianity into the conversation. You always mention it. It's not often that people delve into life's existential questions with strangers, as much as some Christian apologists may want us to believe that to be the case.